live on the road. I think I'm going to do this a lot now. I'm just going to go live while I drive. I won't be able to see most of your guys' comments unless I just glance at my camera or my phone or whatever this thing is. But I want to talk about what I alluded to in my video earlier, which is the Trevor Wittman's camps losing streak and camps losing streaks in general. Not even necessarily camps like losing streaks, just how like you get these camps like American Kickboxing Academy, like Trevor Wittman's camp, like you know, the Jackson Wink crew for a while. I mean, they're like, and before them, Militich. They're like all these fight camps that all of a sudden will have like champion after champion after champion, like, and they've got like all of them, like they, you know, where they, and like right now the New Zealand crew, right? Izzy, Volkanovski, you know, like it's, if you really actually think about it, it's like, you know, and then like American Top Team before that, like these teams go on, you know, these teams go on these like streaks, and they all kind of like seem to hit at the same time, like lots of fighters all at the same time, like hit their stride, and you know, I mean, they're all great coaches. I wonder how much of it has to do with like, you know, once, I don't know, like my honest opinion about the journey of these guys in general is like attaining a world championship is like the ultimate, it's like the ultimate thing. And it's the same for coaches. Like to have a world, you know, to have a world champion that they're coaching, I mean, is massive, dude. And then to all of a sudden have three, incredible, dude. So I really wonder whether or not like once they've done it and they've had a bunch of champions, if something changes for them. But like, you know, it's one of those things where like in the event that I don't know, like if it was, in some cases you might think like something changed, right? Where it's like, oh, I don't know, like, these guys were on top and then they all lost, you know, like they all lost their titles because of blah, blah, blah. But I mean, everybody ages out, right? Like everyone ages out. And what you almost never see is you almost never see like a, I don't know, like a team go where they pass the title from one guy to the next. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, like when someone loses the title, where like all of a sudden like the next guy gets it from their team. I don't really know why that is, but like I will say this, like Trevor Wittman's team, what is, as I understand it, Rose, Gaethje, Kamaru. I'm not sure if he has other fighters, but there was a second there where all three of them were champions. All three of them were on top of the world, and then, you know, now all three of them lost their most recent fight. Now, does that mean that it's like any less of an awesome camp? No, I think that the world runs in rhythms, man. Like I'm talking everything. Everything runs in like these rhythms. And I you know, I thought about this a lot before the Kamaru and Leon fight. And I didn't say anything on the channel just because, I don't know, like it just sounded kind of hokey, where it's like, you know, listen, man, like you got to consider Rose and Justin Gaethje lost, so like Kamaru Usman's the other guy. Just sounds weird, but I really do believe in that kind of stuff. And like, and by the same token, you know, it's like, I mean, who knows if this will actually have any effect on anything, but like Israel, you know, what's his name? Islam is on the same team as Gaethje, Kamaru. You know, I don't know, like he's, I don't know if that, I don't, like, it's not exactly the same, but like, I don't know. But I'm trying to think if there have been any teams like that went on a run, got like a shitload of champions. You know, like they get a shitload of like AKA. Dude, Cormier put up a video or put up a picture the other day, and it was like when we were kings, and it was him, Kane, Rockhold, and Khabib. I was like, bro, that is bananas, dude. Like, that's seriously crazy. Think about that, dude. Think about that. All those 4 guys, all on the same team, basically all in their prime. You know, Kane, DC, Rockhold, Khabib. That's insane, dude. That is insane. So, you know, and then like Jackson Wink, I mean, you used to have, dude, they had tons of people over there. American Top Team. There was a time in like, I don't know, however many years ago it was, but there were so many guys at American Top Team that were like the top and the champions. But I don't know. I just think that like people age out, and then it's like iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? It's like when guys are getting close to the championship, like this is what I honestly think. It's like when I'm really thinking about this right now. It's like I think there's this energy that is very, very, very hard to match, which is the momentum behind a contender that's destined to be a champion, you know? Like a guy that is real, like where they know in their heart, they're going to be a champion. And I think it's like contagious. Like I think that like guys on the same team, they all get on the same wavelength, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he won the title. It's like, fuck, man. And then it's like, dude, it's your turn next. And then another guy on your team wins the fucking title. And then it's like, dude, who's up next? It's all, bro, you're going to get it next. And it just kind of goes like that. And like with Izzy and Volk, it's like those 2 guys have caught this dominance rhythm, which is crazy. Like where, you know, they're both in the same room all the time, like training on the same team, you know, fighting really close to each other, fighting on the same fucking card, actually. And it's like, you got these 2 totally dominant champions who are on the same fucking team, and they're training every day, and they're on the same wavelength. It's like, who's next? Like, who's the next one to try me? And I don't know, dude. It's just like, I just think that kind of stuff is really interesting. But for like Trevor Wittman, it's like, if I look at his, like, I think Kamaru has a good chance of winning his title back, of course. Especially if he gets an immediate shot back at Leon. Just because I think it was pretty clear that there's one way where Leon wins that fight, and we saw it. And so if Kamaru, but that doesn't mean he can't land it again. It doesn't mean he can't or catch Kamaru with punches. Again, dude, like I've said this a million times. I just like fights where I was like, dude, after watching that documentary about Leon, like I would be so excited for him if he won. Like the guy's gone through so much shit, man. And obviously I'm really excited for him. But I would love to see Kamaru come back and take back what's his too. Here's the thing. And I have talked about on the channel a million times, which is like, there seems to be an extraordinarily consistent theme where when a champion loses, right? Like a champion that's not supposed to lose, loses, and they do an immediate rematch, what happens in the rematch? Right? Now, Amanda, she broke that streak. She came back and she beat the shit out of Juliana. And so there's a total, like, probability that Kamaru does exactly that to Leon, where he just basically fights the same fight and doesn't get head kicked, right? Now, but here's the other thing. If, like I said in my other video, if I'm Kamaru, I'm not trying to grind out a decision, dude. Like, Leon starched me. I'm trying to starch Leon, you know, and just leave absolutely no doubt. So, and that being the case, if he does fight that way, that at the very least leaves him more exposed to potentially eating another shot like that. But again, I mean, this very much could look like the Nunes and Pena fight, right? dominant champion, got caught slipping, comes back, you know, avoids a head kick, gets his title back. But also, a lot of times, dude, these guys, like, because, like, here's the other thing, too. If Kamaru does lose the rematch, and I'm not saying that he's going to or anything, but it'll be really hard to come back from that, you know? It'll be, like, really hard. Like, as a matter of fact, I can't think, like, I mean, Wei Li looks like she's on a good run to potentially come back from losing twice to Rose. So I don't know, maybe, you know what, there are exceptions to that. There have been a lot of recent exceptions to that, because before it was like, it seemed like it was really rare for like the champion to come back and win their title back. And also really rare where if the champion doesn't win their title back in the rematch, where they have like a career resurgence. It seems like that's usually like the beginning of them starting to kind of slide. And Kamaru's not young, but he also doesn't look like he's in any kind of decline at all. Like that's the thing about that fight is like there didn't seem to be any decline in his skills at all. And it kind of played out as everybody who kind of knows what they're looking at expected, which was like if you guys watch the video I did today, Ali Abdelaziz, Kamaru's manager, who is obviously rooting for Kamaru, said he just needs to avoid elbows and that head kick. Like everyone knew that head kick was crazy fucking dangerous because it's so sharp and it comes out of nowhere. Not only does it come out of nowhere, he hides it really well. He throws that jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross. He throws the jab, looks like it's a cross. It's not a cross, dude. At least not that time. So, you know, it's not like it's... I don't know if it's like, if it was necessarily complacency either at the end of that fight, because Cejudo specifically called out during the fight that Kamaru tends to move his head away from his hands, you know? And so it just is one of those things, dude. It's like, I don't even know, like it's just one of those things where like, you know, you throw two trained machines at each other and you see what happens, and it's like the one machine is dominant, but you always know, you're like, yeah, but this one thing this guy can do can just end the fight instantly. And it's like, and that's exactly what happened. But I don't know, dude, like, you know, one thing I know, so there have been like so many videos that people have put up recently about like after that fight where they're like, you know, check this out. One of the things that I saw was this guy put up this video that showed Trevor Wittman smiling at like in the octagon as they were, you know, and new for Leon. You know, he was kind of smiling the whole time. And people were like, you know, oh, look at this. Like, he's stoked that Kamaru lost. And I'm like, is that really? I mean, that is definitely not how I read that, dude. Now, I don't know Trevor Wittman personally, but I've watched anybody that you let me watch someone on Joe Rogan where they calmly sit and have a conversation with a level-headed, cool guy like Joe for 3 hours. You get a pretty good feel for like who they are, you know what I mean? And I watched him and Gaethje when they were on, and my read on him in general and that is just that like he was like genuinely sharing in the experience of Leon's victory, which is cool. You know what I mean? Like, how many championships has Trevor Wittman won standing behind his fighter? A lot, dude. Like a lot. And so I don't know, if he romanticizes the journey, which I know he does, and then he knows what Leon's story is, and he looks and he knows they're going to get a rematch. It's like the fact that he can kind of, I don't know, feel good for Leon is pretty fucking cool. He seems like a really good dude, man. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Gaethje, Kamaru, Rose, pretty strong pedigree for strikers, you know. Anyway, but like, dude, you know what I saw today though? I'm gonna go live on Friday because Adriano Moraes, my fucking boy, dude. Adriano Moraes is like the first like legit big deal pro fighter who was like my boy after I started this channel where I talk to him all the time. And he's fighting against Mighty Mouse again on Friday. You know, Demetrius Johnson against Adriano Moraes too. That's exciting because he is fucking nasty. If you never watched that first fight, like that was not like fluky at all. He is fucking good, dude. He's like one of these guys. It's like he's like, you know what he's like? He's like Charles Oliveira, dude. He's a jiu-jitsu guy who learned how to be ruthless on the feet also. If you look at his record, bro, 1FC has killers in it. Like 1FC has killers in it. I don't know what their like drug testing stuff is, so I don't know if it's an even playing field. I don't think they have similar testing to UFC. So I'm, you know, again, like you have to, as a matter of fact, I'm 99% sure based on some of the fighters over there. So you have to take watching the fights with a grain of salt where you're kind of like, all right, well, but like, I don't know, you know, like a guy who's really vicious in Bellator, I'm like, okay, you know, and like some guys you can tell, you can watch and you're like, dude, that guy's really, really good. But bro, if a guy's like a multi-time defending champion in 1FC, like in a couple of those weight classes, they're fucking legit, dude. And Adriano Moraes is fucking legit. He put down Demetrius Johnson. I mean, end of story. He knocked him out. Like Demetrius beat everybody ever and then got traded to 1FC for Ben Askren. The fight that he lost was a hair close split decision to Henry Cejudo, which I do think Cejudo won. And then he fought my boy. My boy put him in the ground, son. Put him in the ground. But they're redoing that fight on Friday, which is gonna be really exciting. I haven't even looked at the undercard. I don't think Henry lost that fight, dude. I think it was close, but I thought Henry won. He's gonna be in a wheel. O'Malley's gonna be in a wheelchair. I mean, I can't remember who I saw talking about that actually. Was that Cejudo that was talking about that? I saw someone talking about it, and they were saying that the way to fight O'Malley is to chop that leg, and that's correct, for sure. For sure. Just because O'Malley is so fucking dangerous on his feet, and he's so long. I mean, dude, Pedro Munoz didn't land a strike. Not a strike on his head. Zero. Okay, in a round and a half, he did not land a punch, not one fucking punch on his head. Did not land a head strike. None. Zero. Not one. 0%. And I watched that fight again very closely to kind of evaluate the, you know, where O'Malley was like, I checked all of those kicks. And that was not true. However, it was not true only in that he said he checked all of them. Unless I'm remembering that incorrectly. But he checked a lot of them. He checked a fucking lot of them, dude. And checked them nasty, where it was like, there was no, you know, like, sometimes the difference between a good check and, fuck, I almost checked that and that really, really hurt is very close and very hard to see if you're watching on television. It's like, you know, if someone tries to calf kick a guy and they hit him on the outside of the calf, you know, and their leg kind of like, you know, is moved inward, like that's pretty obvious. But there is this angle where you can get kicked like in your kind of like not your shin bone, but like in your shin muscle, where your leg won't really move. You know, like to an outside observer, it looks kind of like a check, but to your leg, it feels absolutely awful, dude. Like, it does not feel like a check. It feels like they fucking kicked you really, really hard. And so a lot of times, like when you're watching on TV, it's just really hard to be able to tell the difference. But fuck, dude, in that O'Malley fight, some of those checks, dude, were just like, were so clear. It was like the equivalent of O'Malley just sticking a fucking titanium pole in the ground and just having fucking Pedro kick it. You know, where it was like, ooh, man. And they were like good checks too. Fucking like I put that picture up on one of my videos where it wasn't even just the angle. I mean, all you really need to do is move your angle and then bend your knee a little bit. Like, but there was this one picture that just was like, good night, dude. Like that right there, that picture, that is how you snap a leg in half, kicking another person. And it's interesting too, because like when you see it like that, it's like, you know, a lot of times a guy checks a kick, dude breaks his leg, and you think of that as a fluke. You know what I mean? Like you think of that as like a fluky way to win. It's like, oh, dude, you know, like he leg kicked him and his leg just broke. It's like, no, that's definitely not correct. Wait, I just saw something about Mighty Mouse at 135. So he's fighting at 35 in 1FC, but 1FC has the hydration thing. So like trying to see where I should park. There's the best lighting here, but yeah, they have the oh, this is a terrible call. They have the hydration thing where like their 35 division is very similar in terms of the 5-pound division in UFC. Oh my God, this is fucking even worse. How is there no right answer for where to park here? All right. I'm here, but I'm an hour early for class because I had to go run an errand first. Someone's calling me out for street beefs. I have no idea who that is. What possible upside is there for me in fighting on fucking street beefs? Like, riddle me the upside for me. You know, I go in there and I starch some guy. They're like, damn, Jesse starched a guy on street beefs. You know, damn. Except what if I lose? It's like, oh, dude, hey, Jesse on Fire lost on street beefs. There's no fucking upside there. It's all risk, no reward. Who wins, me versus Rogan? Jesus. Rogan, dude. I guess it depends on whether Rogan is awake or not. Rogan's a Taekwondo world champion and he has he's a Machado and a 10th planet black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, I could say this pretty goddamn confidently. If a person's not in the UFC, fucking Rogan is a big, big favorite. But the reason why Rogan has never fought in the octagon also is because why? Again, like, what's the upside for him? What's his career? You know what I mean? Like, his career is in like content and comedy. If he gets starched, that's bad. If he wins, who cares? He's already a star. You know what I mean? There's no if you're doing what I'm doing, it's all risk, no reward. Oh, dude, you respect these guys? I mean, it's insane, dude. It's fucking insane what these guys do. I was saying that to Anthony. I said that to Anthony after the what fight was that? I can't remember which fight it was, but it was a light heavyweight fight. There was a banger. And I called him. I was like, you know what fucking trips me out is like I was just watching that fight thinking to myself, like, these guys are fucking sad. Like, the idea of getting locked in a cage with one of those two fucking guys is so ludicrous to me. Because you can just look and, like, I know how big a fucking light heavyweight UFC fighter is. I'm like, it's just so insane that, like, you're gonna fucking voluntarily get into a cage and fight one of those guys till one of you was unconscious. And Anthony's all, he's like, I know, that's funny because I was looking at them and I was thinking, fuck, these guys are dinner. And he means it, dude. You know what I mean? Dude, Anthony looked great until his fucking ankle. Shawnee Mack. I don't fight my boys, dude. I'm not fighting anybody. Tom Hardy won a BJJ tournament. I know, he's a savage, man. That guy is a savage. Do I think Nick will fight again? I have no idea, dude. I really, honestly, I have no idea. Because, like, he always says, you know, he always says that he's going to, of course Joe would smoke me like a joint. He'd fucking smoke 12 of you and me. But, like, Nick always says that he wants to come back and fight. And, I don't know, man. Like, you know how he is, dude. Like, you just never know if he's going to be serious about it, train. Like, because apparently he didn't even really train for the last one. You know, at the very end, dude, he literally changed the fucking weight class of the fight, like, you know, 10, 12 days before the fight. And I talked to Caesar about it. And Caesar, like, yeah, Caesar said that he just called the UFC and he was like, dude, we got to change the weight class. You know, and it was that close a fight. I mean, Caesar didn't tell me that he wasn't training, but he did tell me that he called the UFC. And it's like, I mean, there's only one reason why you would do that. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, that I'm pretty sure that was like fucking 5 days, 4 or 5 days before the fight or something like that. Thank you, G. Lucas. Chael's good people, dude. Chael is good people. They said he had a neck injury. Yeah. I mean, I saw Caesar did an interview a couple weeks ago on Submission Underground, and he was saying that like Nick really wants to fight now, you know, that he doesn't like need to, he like really wants to, which is good. I just saw that comment saying that Leon should do what do you call it? Fight Masvidal next. But the neck, I'll tell you about that in a second. So he can't fight Masvidal because in order to be able to leap, I mean, like, look, like Kamaru's gonna be out for a while, and like this, whatever, like this is the God honest truth, and I should probably do a video about this specifically, is as much as prior to this fight, Leon was not a big draw, like that has changed dramatically. Now, I'm not saying they could just throw Leon in any kind of random main event and it would do a bunch of money, but each event is its own deal, right? And the pay-per-views are not the only consideration. There are other things. It's ridiculous money. And bottom line, if they do Leon versus fill in the blank at Wembley, they're selling that fucking bitch out now. Like, UFC has sold out basically, I think they said that they've done 30 straight sellouts, right? And so think about this, dude. Like, Wembley Stadium, go look up how big it is, dude. Because, like, the Tyson Fury fight that I watched in Cabo or Cancun, and then when Francis got in the ring afterwards, that place is fucking enormous, dude. And so now you have this massive Leon fight, and you want to strike while the iron's hot, dude. Like, you really do. Like, that's the thing, is you want to really, like, you want to, and so if Kamaru has to sit out, which he should, you know, like, really, like he should, like Rashad said in his interview recently, where he was like, he really needs time to let that heal after a knockout like that, like a concussion like that. Like, you know, he'll be fine as long as he takes the necessary time. But from a business standpoint, you might not, like, dude, you might not want to give Leon that much time on the shelf versus getting him in Wembley right now. Like, they've got a fucking superstar, like a super fight And it can be Leon versus anyone with a big name. Masvidal, that shit makes no sense. Like, I mean, it makes sense if Masvidal could get a win. That's the thing. They should try to fucking jam Masvidal into an event immediately. Masvidal and Burns, like if they like jam Burns and Masvidal into you know, like get Burns and Masvidal into a fight, like, fuck, man. I mean, I know 279 is impossible. It's too close. 280, you're not going to get it done before 281, actually. You're not going to be able to get over 281 is going to be your earliest. So I would imagine they're probably going to try to do Masvidal and Leon at 281. And by then, right, like by 281, the only way that Masvidal would be ready sooner than Kamaru is if it was a really fast, like, you know, like he just like starches Burns or something and he doesn't take very much damage, which seems bordering on, like, that doesn't seem super likely. I'm not saying that Masvidal can't win, but for him to go in and beat Burns, taking little to no damage to where he could turn around super fast, that's hard for me. And Kamaru, like, I mean, listen, first, Stipe did get an immediate rematch, actually. And the only reason that Stipe was not going to get an immediate rematch was because they had fucking Brock Lesnar lined up, right? And here's the other thing about that. Oh, no, you're right. DC fought Derek Lewis, you're right. So the only reason that is the case, though, is, like, you have to understand the fighters' relationships with the organization matter a lot, dude. Like, really matter a lot. Kamaru Usman has as good of a relationship with that organization as you possibly can. He's, like, Dana and him are boys on a business level, on a personal level. Like, it's not hard to read, dude. Dana says nothing but positive things about Kamaru. Kamaru does what they ask. He fights a bunch of times a year. He doesn't make it hard. I don't know, like, I pay attention to all these things outside of just, like, who fought who, and how Dana has, like, talked about guys and treated guys outside the octagon. Like, I understand exactly what kind of dude Dana is. And, like, if Dana's got your back, he's got your fucking back. If you've made an enemy of him, the opposite. Like, I knew, like, he had no choice, you know, but to give, you know, fight of the night to Rockhold and Costa, of course. But even if Rockhold won, he wasn't going to get performance of the night. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and he wasn't going to get a title shot no matter what, because he made an enemy. And it's like, and Usman's the exact opposite. Like, Usman for sure is going to get an immediate rematch. His next fight will be for a title. That I will promise you. It's just about depending on how long until he's ready and whether they want to strike while the iron's hot and do Wembley Stadium before. You know what I mean? And that, more than likely, if it's not Kamaru, would be Khamzat, right? Would be Khamzat. Now, the other thing, though, is if Nate Diaz, by some fucking miracle, beats Khamzat fast, right? It's possible the UFC offers him a title shot in Wembley against Leon Edwards, which would actually make sense given how that last fight ended. And, you know, now you get Leon to kind of get to, event, whatever. That would just be a fucking enormous fight. But most likely, Khamzat will win that fight, and then boom, they go. NKS, thank you very much. You hope it's not Bilal versus Leon. They're not going to do Bilal. They're not going to leapfrog Usman for Bilal. That won't happen. Not because Bilal's not a good dude, good fighter, and, you know, future star. Just that's not going to happen. That's not. I mean, there's no way. Like, they already fought, shitty outcome with an eye poke. Like, there's no fucking way. There's no way. Now, Colby is this huge, like, I don't know, wild card where it's coming, like, he had a close decision against Usman, a dominant victory over Masvidal, and he hasn't said shit. That's weird, dude. That's weird. That's weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, why isn't he asking for the fight? Why isn't Colby asking for the fight? I know someone I could ask. I just don't want to ask him. You know? I don't want to try to escalate our relationship before we're in a place where I could ask tough questions. You can't give Masvidal a shot right now. It can't be. You cannot do it, dude. If there's a lawsuit, I mean, a lawsuit against Masvidal, and Masvidal's going to fight. Masvidal, I mean, dude, Masvidal and Burns are trying to fight. Like, they're in a fight. So, Colby, it's just, I don't know, it's fucking bizarre. He's not a spring chicken. He's got to fucking fight, man. I could see Masvidal beating Leon, yeah. I also could see Leon fucking kicking him in the head. I mean, you know, who knows? Colby does not think Leon Edwards is a bad matchup for him. There's something going on with Colby. He's out, like, getting pictures taken. He's out in public. The only other thing that I can think of, so, like, I have a couple theories, right? And, I mean, I'll just be, you know, totally honest. I think you got one option is this whole thing with Masvidal, the amount of, like, publicity that Colby got, or, like, so let's say Masvidal really attacked him. I think, like, Colby is, like, this shook him up in terms of, like, something about him wanting to do shit, like, publicly. I think that, let's say hypothetically, that I was right all along, and somehow this is like an elaborate work, which, you know, the second that, like, if Masvidal actually takes a charge on paper, gets convicted, then that's over. But until he takes a charge, there's still a chance that it was a work. And if that's the case, the amount of fucking press that they've gotten might have literally spooked Colby. Because now you're talking police and shit where, like, he's a lot, like, that shit does not, I don't think would come naturally to him. It's like anything having to do with police. George beats Burns and starches Leon, it would be chaos. It would be one of the most incredible fucking things ever. And so, like, those are the two, like, only two, like, the brain damage thing makes no sense to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So it's either, I mean, obviously it has something to do with what happened with Masvidal. If the thing is real, it just, like, shook him up to the point where, like, he doesn't like doing press. If it was not real, then maybe he's, like, nervous about being public because there's cops involved or something. I don't know, dude. I honestly don't feel like I really, like, can say. Anyway. All right. I gotta go get ready for jiu-jitsu. Gotta get ready for jiu-jitsu, you guys. At Six Blades. In Lake Travis. With world champions Steve Hargett and Victor Hugo. I'm easy to find, you guys. I'm here every fucking day. Although on Wednesday, we're gonna be at headquarters in Austin. I gotta go later.